Steve, here we are. Another episode of the Steel Target Paint Podcast. I was checking the numbers, and that Max Michel is on the rise. So I think people are liking what we're providing, and I think we're going to have another good one. But before we get to that, what have you been shooting?
Jeff, I'm excited about tonight's podcast. Been doing some shooting at the home range this weekend, doing a couple of promo videos and some load development and testing and getting ready for the Tennessee match coming up this weekend. How about you, Jeff? What have you been shooting?
You know, I've been shooting the PCC exclusively, getting ready for the USPSA 9 Days of Nationals, although I'm only shooting 3 of them in PCC optics. So that's what I've been working on. Haven't been a chance to shoot much steel, but as soon as Nationals is over, I'll be back into steel because I'll be driving up to shoot the Alabama State match.
Oh, that's awesome, Jeff. Jeff, we've got a very, very, very special guest with us tonight. Is that too many varies?
It's just about right. I would say that's just about the right amount of varies.
Just the right amount. Great. Well, we have the Cole Busch on with us tonight. How you doing tonight, Cole?
Hey, Cole.
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Fantastic.
Man, it looks like you had a great time at the Rimfire Challenge World Championship. Congratulations on all your wins.
Oh, thank you. It was a very fun and challenging match with some new things I've never seen before, but it was a great learning experience, and I got to see lots of friends and sponsors down there.
Man, so is your dad Rick putting an addition out of the house, or did you take over the garage for your wall of plaques, or what's going on? Be honest with us, Cole.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We're gonna have to figure out something, but.
Yeah, it sounds like some third world problems, right, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Cole, you walked away with the overall Open Championship this past weekend, and you took top honors in Youth Limited and Youth Open. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was Junior Open and Junior Limited.
Man, congratulations on some great shooting. And you were just off the mark by, what, less than half a second?
0.24.
Dang.
Yeah,
Wow.
That was a cool one.
Yeah, if you're like me, you probably sat back and thought, you know what, if I would have just had one less pickup shot there, I would have won. Yeah, but we're not going to focus on that. But great match. I've watched some highlight videos out on Facebook, and man, congratulations on some great finishes there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Cole, you mentioned you won in the junior category. Tell our listeners how old you are.
I just turned 16 years old at the end of September.
16 years old. And how long have you been shooting?
About 2.5 years or so.
So you started, what would that be, about 13 and a half or so?
Yeah.
And as a 16-year-old, how many national or world championships do you currently have?
It's a tough question, and in all honesty, I don't know.
You know what? That speaks volumes, listeners, right there. Here's a kid who just goes out and shoots, and he can't remember all of his accomplishments. He's just focusing on the next set of goals, I would bet. Is that right, Cole?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Fantastic.
Jeff, I'll tell you a little bit of a history lesson about the legend Cole Busch. So it was about a year and a half ago, maybe it was 2 years ago. There's a guy named Eric Martin. He reached out to me and said, hey, Steve, this guy is absolutely amazing. He's a younger kid. He's been picking up and just shooting the lights out of everything I give to him. I'm like, yeah, okay, Eric. Yeah, whatever. And then I think it was at the last year World NSSF Championships. I got done a little bit early, and I had an opportunity to watch Cole shoot. Jeff, it was at that very moment I thought to myself, what else could I be good at? Could I be good at golf? Could I be good at horseshoes? Or anyway, so it's been great over the last at least year and a half. See you grow and develop into the shooter you are. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, one thing I really enjoy about shooting sports in general is getting to know everybody and how friendly everybody is.
So let me ask you this, Cole. You got involved in shooting 2.5 years ago. How did you get involved in the shooting sports?
I used to race motorcycles, and I kind of got tired of all the injuries and concussions. My dad has a lot to do with state. He was part of the Iowa State Patrol and the Iowa State Patrol SWAT team, and those guys would come to our range, and they would do their training. And my dad eventually brought me down to the range to help them pick up brass, and that kind of led off to, hey, Cole, do you want to do a little bit of shooting with us? And then it was like, hey, Cole, do you want to shoot my AR? Or, hey, Cole, do you want to shoot my Glock 35? And then I started shooting those guys when they came over, and that's kind of when my love for shooting really started to take off.
All right, let's back up here a minute. So you used to race motorcycles?
Yeah.
What kind of motorcycles did you race?
Everything from a Yamaha PW50 all the way up to Kawasaki 250 four-stroke.
Wow, that's really cool. You know, I bet your dad today is regretting that period of time where he said, hey, do you want to shoot a couple of rounds? He didn't know. How many rounds a year do you shoot, Cole?
I, same answer as before. I honestly don't know. I've really, my dry fire routine is pretty strong, I would say. I try and do that at least once a day from anywhere, I guess, 15 minutes to 45 minutes. And I've been messing around with the Halo Neuroscience headphones. Those have helped me tremendously with working with my pistols and all that. So.
All right, I've seen the headphones. What exactly does it do?
Ooh. I guess there's the motor cortex in your head, and there's these 3 pads that you soak in water, and you put those into your headset. You turn it on, and you can kind of choose what you want to, I guess, work on. If it's your right arms, right fingers, left arms, left fingers, or your whole body in general. But it'll send electrical waves into your motor cortex in your head, and then that helps you develop your skills with whatever part of your body you chose.
Steve, I told you, he's a robot. I knew it.
I was getting there, Jeff. So Cole, what do you like most about shooting?
It's the family atmosphere and how everybody is just so friendly, and you're treated like a family member. You know, if one of your gun breaks or one of your guns breaks, anybody's there. I mean, everybody's going to start either giving you the backup guns or helping to try and fix your guns, everything. Or if you ran out of ammo, everybody's going to be giving you ammo. I've experienced these things, and I've helped people with these things, and it's pretty awesome to see.
Steve, I'd like to share a story here. This past Nationals, I was shooting, and poor Cole, he had a flat tire on his cart, and I felt really bad for him. So I went and got a brick, and I bricked up his cart for him, and told him that, you know, by the end of the match we try to get him a tire, but I didn't mean it. I just wanted him to have a brick under his cart. That's not the best part of the story. Here's the best part of the story. I get up around the corner, and as you know, at the Covington Range showdown is up the hill. And I get up the hill, and I see Cole there, and he's like, how you doing? I'm like, well, I just had a problem on Outer Limits. Gun's having a problem. He's like, what are you shooting? I said, a Volquartz and Scorpion. He says, what do you think's happening? I think, well, I think it's light strikes. He goes right to his dad. He goes, Dad, give me the keys. Now he runs up the hill to his car and grabs a spare hammer spring for a Volquartz and says, here, try this. Light strikes could mean bad hammer spring. And that cemented in my mind what kind of kid Cole is. And I will always remember that story because, you know, Steve and I have talked about it, Cole, that, you know, and you said it, we've all either borrowed guns or let someone else borrow a gun. And that was just, it's just another instance of, you know, how we all say, you know, the shooters are some of the best people on the planet.
You bet. Yeah, it happened. The same thing happened to me at my first match, too, is I blew the barrel out of the gun I was shooting, and someone handed me a gun instantly. So.
Well, Cole, you said what you like the most about shooting. Now, we all love to be at matches, but there's always things that bug us. So what do you think what are the things that you like the least about shooting?
I honestly can't think of any. I really can't.
Okay. I mean, you shoot in the cold, shoot in the rain, shoot in the mud. Doesn't matter?
I guess that maybe if we're gonna talk about that, it would probably either be the long drives or the negative 20-degree weather I've shot in. That
Negative 20.
we shot in Nebraska, and I'm pretty sure it was below zero there.
Well, Steve, he's got us beat from the Georgia match last year, so we'll give Cole credit for that one.
It was cold. It was cold there. Hey, Cole, it doesn't really get that cold down here to Georgia, so you've got an open invite to come stay with me and do some practicing at my home range. Hey, Jeff, did I tell you I have a home range now?
There it is. It's not a podcast without Steve plugging his home range.
So tell me a little bit more about your practice routine. Do you shoot a lot of steel challenge stages, or you just kind of mix it up when you're live firing?
Well, it all depends on what the match I'm preparing for is, whether it's Steel Challenge, RCSA, USPSA Run and Gun. For Steel Challenge, I have all 8 stages set up on our property, so I'll go shoot those. If it's RCSA, I'll grab a few stands and set up some 5-target to 7-target arrays and shoot those. USPSA, that's working on reloads, because I shoot a lot of PCC in USPSA right now, but I definitely like to expand out into other divisions like open.
As a PCC shooter, Cole, I think you should pursue those open dreams. So, Cole, you're definitely a highly accomplished shooter. In the general audience overall, we get a lot of questions from time to time about, how do I become a better shooter? Can you give the audience one maybe shooting tip or trick, something to help elevate your game to the next level?
If your first plate, if you can cut down your where your gun is aiming to your first plate, that's one of the biggest things I started working on when I started shooting, because I would say my first shot was 1.5, 2 seconds, and now I've gotten that down to about half a second or so, and I think that has helped a lot. So definitely working on your first shot is key.
Yeah, I completely agree. If you can close your eyes and the gun's right there when you open them, that's going to be more successful for you when you're in a match type situation. Jeff and I have had a lot of discussion about Smoke and Hope here, and we saw a video out there where it showed you shooting Smoke and Hope in 1.17 seconds. So there was some video footage. We saw the timer, and man, that was blazing. That was it, smoking. So Jeff and I had a conversation about sight focus and target focus and whatnot. When you're having that type of run, because I'm sure you've done it as quick, if not quicker, in practice, are you seeing the sights at all, or are you seeing them on every single transition, or just on the stop plate?
Just the stop plate. It's typical for Smoke and Hope, and depending on the day too. If I'm not having the best day at a match, I'll slow down and I won't point shoot it. But if I'm having a good day and I know I'll be able to point shoot it, that's when the 117s can happen, because I was having a good day with the pistol that day, and I went for it on the last string, and I don't even know if I saw my dot on the stop plate, if I just point shot the stop plate too. But
man, that's blazing.
Well, Cole, you mentioned RCSA. We've got Steel Challenge, USPSA. I'm pretty sure you shot, well, it was a USPSA sanctioned match, but one of the PCC championships. How many disciplines would you say you shoot? I mean, can you even think of them all? You shoot the IDPA?
yeah, I've shot it a couple times. I didn't get to, I think I got to 1 this year, and that was it. But
Anything else? You shooting
Yeah,
any SAS? The SASP?
no, I did not do that this year. We wanted to focus on some major matches this year, so that one ended up not happening this year.
And is there any, I mean, we know we've talked about your accomplishments in Rimfire Challenge and in Steel Challenge. And of course, there was the big, I don't want to say beef, but challenge from our good friend Tony Martin at I think it was the JP Championships, wasn't it?
Yep.
So, I mean, if you had to pick one discipline, if somebody came to you, if your dad said, okay, Cole, you know what, ammo's expensive, you're only going to be able to shoot one discipline, what would you pick?
I would probably go with Steel Challenge because there's 13 different division options there. It may be the same 8 stages, but it's just so much fun to shoot, and you have all those 13 options.
Good answer.
No, it's not, Jeff. That is not the answer I wanted to hear. How about
Steve.
PRS? Have you done some precision rifle shooting? I hear it's a blast.
He will go to college, okay? So, I mean, he's going to be out for a while.
All right. You got to let us old guys give us just a little bit of slack. So, Cole, you shoot a lot of guns extremely well. What is your go-to? What's your favorite gun and setup?
I would say my Valkortsen ultralight rifle with the mod shot stock.
And why is that?
It is extremely lightweight and pretty accurate, I would say.
So we get into the discussion of the light versus the heavy gun. So you like a lighter rifle compared to a heavier rifle, huh?
I do. Where I can cut weight, I try and do that.
Yeah, Colin came out with a great design with that chassis system. I'm the exact opposite. I like a heavy gun. Maybe it's my poor shooting technique. Like my JP, it's probably just over 7 pounds, and it helps out on some of the longer, tougher stages, if you will, because I think the gun settles, but it definitely I can feel the additional weight on those transitions, like a Smoke and Hope and in those types of stages. It slows me down a little bit. And what optic are you running, Cole?
I'm running a Seymour on my rifle, but I am really looking to jump to all Vortex. I have Vortex on my pistols right now, and they are extremely reliable, and I want that reliability on my rifles as well.
Absolutely, and I think because I shoot for Vortex, and they do have the best customer service and warranty in the business. Hey, Jeff, is this a plug?
You know, it's fair enough because I'll second that plug. I have a Vortex, and it broke in a very odd spot, and I sent it in, and 2.5 weeks later, I had a brand new one. And here's the best part: put it on the gun, ready to sight it in, and it was perfect. Didn't even have to zero it; it was perfectly zeroed. Couldn't believe it.
When I put on my first Vortex, that's the same thing that happened to me, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, Cole, you said Steel Challenge is your favorite discipline. So 8 stages, regardless of gun, what's your favorite stage?
I really like Accelerator.
Wow, wasn't expecting that one. We don't hear that much, do we, Steve?
I'm with Cole though. I would say Accelerator is probably my favorite stage as well. Once I got it figured out, I just love it.
How do you shoot that, Cole?
I start with the close 2 on the left, so I'll start with the 10-incher, the 18 by 24, then I'll transition all the way to the back right on the other 18 by 24, and then I'll go from right to left to the stop plate.
And as Steve had asked, what is it about that stage that makes it your favorite?
It's either a very fast stage or a very slow stage.
Slow because you miss, or slow because you have to be more concerned about accuracy?
Well, for me, this year I've really noticed I'm either having a hot match or a cold match. And, with those particular stages, when I'm hot, that's one of the best stages of the match for me. But if it's cold, it might not be that great. But it's one of the stages I really like to shoot on during practice and really sharpen my skills on. It's just a fun stage to shoot.
Okay, so Steve, next time we're at a match, we need to ask Cole, are you hot or cold today?
Cole, let's talk about Accelerator for just a moment. for you, let's say you were talking about rimfire rifle, open, I assume. So let's talk about that for a second. What's a good string time or stage time on accelerator for you? Where you're like, yeah, I'm digging this.
I would say like a 160, 170 with the rifle.
Is that for all 5 shots, Cole?
Yeah. What about the last 3?
That's blazing. How about what's a kind of average, or let's say 75, 80% run for you on that? Low twos?
I would say between like a 1.90 to let's say 220.
Man, that's cooking. Do you know off the top of your head what's the fastest time you've ever shot that stage in?
I don't know.
What gun, Steve? Because I just happen to have Cole's records right up here on the steelchallenge.com site. So pick a gun and I'll tell you.
That's a little creepy, Jeff. I think you're stalking him. Tell your dad, Rick, it's okay.
His rimfire rifle open peak time is a 7:44.
Man, that's smoking. That's a pretty solid time.
And he did that. He did that at the East Coast Championships.
Yeah, so that's what, you said 740?
7:44. Yeah, 7:40. So that's like a 185.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. That's smoking fast. If my goal is if I can shoot that stage with that same gun, if I'm in the mid 8s, that's usually sign. I think the fastest I've probably shot it's in the high 7s, but 740s, that's cruising right along.
So Cole, accelerator, favorite stage. What's your least favorite stage?
And this kind of goes back to the hot and cold thing. I think I would say my least favorite would probably be Smoke and Hope.
Oh, okay.
It's either a hot or cold day. If it's a hot day, it's a really good stage for me. If it's a cold day, it's like East Coast. That was probably one of the roughest times I've had on Smoke and Hope that whole match. I had a couple times where I broke into I think it was the 8s and the 7s with my rimfire guns, and it just wasn't the best match for Smoke and Hope with me.
Okay, so he's not a robot. He is human, Steve.
I'll take his human times anytime, Jeff.
Absolutely.
So, Cole, it looks like in the last 12 to 24 months you've picked up some sponsors. Can you list out, or this is a good opportunity to list out all your sponsors, and then we'll talk a little bit about what it means to be a sponsored shooter?
Yeah, Federal Premium, CCI Ammunition, Valcourson Custom, Palmetto State Armory, Hunters HD Gold, Steel Target Paint, Stripling Custom Gunworks, Outdoors and More, Eagle Ridge Tactical, Tandem Cross, and Cresco Wildlife Club.
Ah, cool. So a lot of our listeners have reached out to Jeff and myself, and I wrote a blog post on, I guess it's been a year and a half ago or so. But how do you go about getting a sponsor?
Promoting their product and being the best possible person you can be at a match, being very respectful of everybody. I guess not being arrogant is good too. I guess just being a nice person at a match and trying to help everybody out is one of the best ways to get a sponsor.
You know, Jeff, there's a lot of people in the shooting community. I've had the fortunate opportunity in the last 2 years. I think last year I shot in 8 different states and attended, 10 or 11 major matches. And there's one theme. Whenever Cole Busch's name is brought up, they're like, man, that guy's awesome. He's such a good guy. And it's interesting. And I say it that way because it's your level of shooting, Cole, is secondary to the type of person that you are. And that's something you should be very proud of, and your parents should be extremely proud of. Because, in today's world, there's a lot of negativity and people look for all the things that are wrong in the world. But your fellow shooters are extremely complimentary of you. and I'm proud to have you a part of the Steel Target Paint family as well.
I'm honored to be part of your guys' family. It's an honor.
Well, I tell you, Steve, you're absolutely right, and it resonates again. You know, Max has said it, and we've talked about it. And if you go back and listen to this podcast, rewind it 2 minutes, listen to what Cole said, and none of it was how good a shooter you are. I mean, that's important, but it's not the real key. And as Cole pointed out, it's being a good person, being respectful, ready to talk about the products that you are being sponsored by at a moment's notice. And I couldn't agree more. In fact, I think I've heard your dad there in the background, and I have shaken your dad's hand more than once and said to him that regardless of any of the shooting that you do, he's raised a hell of a kid, and I mean that sincerely. It's nice to see that when we get to the matches, and you've got a big smile on your face at all times, good or bad string. And I've seen you throw some great strings, and I've seen you throw some bad strings, and you came off, and you're like, hey, it's a match. This happens, and a lot of credit to both of you.
Oh, thank you very much, Jeff.
So you're 16 years old, still in high school. What are your aspirations after high school?
Well, as of right now, I'm working on the 2-year before I graduate high school. And then once I graduate, if I wasn't able to get that 2-year done, I'll finish that up. And hopefully, after I graduate, I will go for a 4-year.
So you're currently in high school, currently working on an associate's degree as well.
Yep.
That's fantastic. And you're keeping up to shoot. That's just amazing. Maybe he's a robot. I'm kidding. I don't mean that.
So do you know exactly what line of work you want to get into, Cole?
My dad was an Air Force combat controller. I would like to do the same thing he did. Air Force combat controller is special ops, so that's what I would really enjoy to do.
You know, I think you need to pick a new hobby because I think at some point, you know, you're going to run out of room in the garage for all these plaques and trophies. And, you know, if you're looking for some suggestions, you know, I'm sure Jeff and I can do some brainstorming. I hear sailing's nice. What do you think, Jeff?
Sailing would be good. Professional tiddlywinks, backgammon. They all work.
So Cole, what do you do for fun outside of shooting? Because I know it's important. I think you're 16 years old. It's cool to still be a kid. What do you do besides shooting?
It's a few different things. I like mountain biking. I actually still have a dirt bike I'll ride around on, and so I guess martial arts, tooling around on the dirt bike every once in a while, weightlifting and sort of stuff like that.
Very, very cool. Jeff, I seem less interesting after talking with Cole for the last 45 minutes. How about you?
Oh, not to me, Steve. I still consider you very interesting, so don't feel bad.
I appreciate that.
And you have a home range. Of course.
I do.
So does Cole. Did you catch that? Cole was nice about it, but they got a home range too. In fact, I think he said he can set up all 8 stages at once. Am I right, Cole?
Yeah.
But Jeff, that's just at the upper range.
Awesome.
Well, that's awesome, and you know, Cole, I'm sure that you couldn't be doing all these great things that you're doing without your parents' help and support. So it's really exciting to see, and I've met your dad before. It's exciting to see parents that are so involved with their kids, advancing. You know, finding something that you're passionate about and advancing the Second Amendment. It's really, really cool to see, and there needs to be more parents out there like yours. Cool stuff.
Hey, Stephen, Jeff, this is Rick, Cole's dad. Appreciate the opportunity you guys allowed him to come on the podcast today, and you guys got a great thing going here promoting the sport. And like Cole said, we really enjoy meeting people from all over the country. Like-minded people and Second Amendment supporters. You know, from Area 5, just shooting East Coast Steel. meeting folks from the Northeast. It was just fantastic. We enjoyed that match up there, but we appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thanks, Rick. We have a lot of fun doing it. We appreciate Cole being on and your kind words. You know, this is Steve and I talked about it early on, and this is not a podcast. You can listen to some our tips, and you know, you can get some things that can make you better. But you know, our goal here is to, you know, the people everybody hears about and meets and sees, and get a little deeper into it. And I think we learned a little more about Cole, and you know, found out he rode motorcycles and did motocross. That's it's an interesting background. So again, thanks for being on.
Yeah, you bet. Anytime.
Well, Cole, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the listeners before we end this cast?
I got a big home range and you don't, Jeff?
Yeah, the deal on the home range is we train law enforcement and special operations folks. And, Cole's obviously paying attention beyond picking up brass. He learned how to point shoot and some other techniques. We didn't think he was paying attention, but apparently he was. So we're blessed to have that capability.
Hey, Rick, at what point, and I'm making a strong assumption here, but at what point did you realize that Cole was really something special and had a knack for this and started, well, let's just say, I'll say this delicately, started to beat you at the shooting discipline?
Yeah, it didn't take long for that to happen. We shot our first match in the 2016 NSSF Iowa match. And again, Eric and Heather Martin and Craig Evans and Larry Sitter and Doug Card and all those guys had no idea who they were. Stepped up and showed us, you know, kind of the basics. And then we started taking notes and just after action, a couple of matches we shot that year. And then Cole took it from there. The discipline on dry fire. You know, I told him the pros dry fire a lot more than they shoot live fire. There was some folklore out there that he's shooting thousands of rounds a week. That's completely false. Probably shoots a brick of 500 at a setting just prior to a match with each gun, and that's about it. A lot of dry fire. It's not exciting, but it pays huge dividends. So if you ever come and visit, you'll see targets all over our house in all different types of arrays.
Hey, Jeff, I heard that as an invite. When
I think so. Yep.
Road
Time to
trip.
go to Iowa.
Yeah, come on out whenever you want. Just let me know.
Really cool. We'll definitely take you up on that. I do sense a road trip coming. Well, thanks again, Rick and Cole, for being on the podcast. We really appreciate it. And thank you for taking out some of your valuable time away from your family to spend time with us.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for allowing me to be on your podcast. I've been listening to the last few, and they're just awesome what you guys are spreading out through the shooting community.
So we're humbled by the invitation. Thanks for the opportunity. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. We're glad to have you both on. Thanks.
Well, everybody, that was the Cole Busch. And remember, if you need any shooting supplies such as steel target paint, head out to rangestore.net and use discount code STPodcast10 to get 10% off. Thanks, everybody.